why do many men prefer virgins? Like all animals, we choose partners based on innate desires we inherited from our ancestors. Humans have a dual reproductive strategy, resulting in multiple cues of reproductive fitness and sexual market value. We evolved competing long-term and short-term mating strategies. This arose due to the high cost of parenting and long gestational period. Humans were not able to know the paternity of the child. But, the high cost of protecting and supporting women and children, was not ignored by natural selection pressure, or tribal societies. In most animals, the highest value males are chosen by the female, causing only a few select males to have a large reproductive success. Women still desire these alpha male traits. In the alternative, males had to compete for dominance over other males in order to mate with females. Men today are essentially unchanged from our primate ancestors and have the same dominance hierarchy. Thus, women are still attracted to men of high dominance, ants, especially when ovulating, and men are very eager to copulate with most fertile women. But human tribes could not exist with the exclusion of most males, as women needed substantial support to accommodate maternal and child-rearing responsibilities in times of high birth and death rates. This means young women had to be paired with a man, who was not a romance novel fairy tale prince. For thousands of years, most tribes married virgin girls and boys, often following a pubertal initiation rite. Anything else would result in the failure of a functional tribal culture that incorporates all men and women. Without this level of bonding with another person at an early age, there would be disenfranchised young men, unrestrained sexual aggression, and feelings of alienation from the tribe. Therefore, restrictive mating was common, and this caused men to seek virgin girls so they could be assured the first child was theirs. Also, where sexually transmitted diseases were present, men who mated with nulliparous rouse virgin brides in sexually restricted cultures, were more successful. In other words, virginity has been valued long before our current religions, which also prize virginity, albeit for different reasons. Only in tribes where sexual reproduction was not understood, was virginity not preferred. One reason we are the sole surviving hominid, is because we had a distinct division of male and female gender roles and social cooperation within the group. Anthropologists note that sexual satisfaction in most tribal cultures tends to be greater than in modern times. Perhaps this arises because they integrate both long-term and short-term mating goals. Extra-pair copulation and multiple long-term partners was common after the birth of the first child. Recent studies show that virgin brides have the highest sexual happiness rates of all married women. The more sexual partners a woman has had, the less emotionally and sexually satisfied she becomes. Apparently, just one previous sexual partner will drop a man's sexual satisfaction with her husband by about 30%. Natural selection would not overlook such psychological consequences. It should be noted that seemingly negative traits, based solely upon what appear to be arbitrary preferences, will become innate with time if selected for. For example, a male peacock's plumage is detrimental to flight and survival. But all peahens evolved to mate with a peacock with the most plumage. The reason this type of strategy can exist is because males were not needed to support the peahen. Like peahens, women prefer the one man, with the highest value. This gives her the best odds of passing her genes on to future generations. Also, men evolved to seek virgin brides and pretty young women, because that improved the chances of successful reproduction, including the support of his offspring even in his absence. But these selfish strategies don't work in cooperative social societies. Studies show that about 60% of women today hate sex with their husband after a few years of marriage. Also, a half-century ago, about 70% of women claimed they would not feel sexual passion even to a man of her ideal physical standards, unless some magical storybook scenario were to unfold. However, most would still marry a good supportive man in the hopes of learning to fall in love, especially if there was sexual curiosity. Women had few opportunities as a spinster, and were expected to be a virgin on her wedding. Those days are gone. But this has left us with female hypergamy and disillusionment. With the loss of traditional gender roles that made humans the sole surviving hominid, we are back to being peacocks. As for equality, America is an oligarchy. Only the extreme elite that possess over 95% of all the wealth have any meaningful influence on politics, law, and the media. Most of these elites are men. But your average male doctor or businessman is also disadvantaged, while powerful corporations pay little or no taxes. Psychologists note that when expectations exceed actual results, it causes unhappiness and disillusion. This may be good for pharmaceutical companies that sell antidepressants, and shopping malls that give false hope of happiness through spending. But tribes did not indoctrinate girls to be special princesses that could do anything they want and have a romance novel hero still desiring them. There is a new saying for a very old theme: no hymen, no diamond. In the last half-century, thousands of years of culture have been abandoned. Census statistics on marriage and family are dismal. Today, more than 70% of Americans, aged 20 to 34, are not married. 60% of the men in Japan, in that same age range, have no relationship with any woman. But that is the topic of the small but growing MGTOW movement and the quest for the mythical Nawalt. Here is our short video banner, with the comical take on the treatment of excessive dishonesty and delusion of society. All commentary herein is as is, and not guaranteed as fit for any purpose.